Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest retro emulation handheld out of China, the RGB 20 Pro. This is the Pow Kitty. I hate the name, but you know what? These guys, they've actually been doing a pretty decent job lately. Their handhelds used to be like, I don't know, they really felt cheap. Even, despite whatever the innards were, they always kind of looked cheap and crappy, but they've been kind of up in their game lately. And this one kind of, it looks interesting. It looks interesting. So yeah, let's just pop this thing out and take a look, right? So they have multiple colors, but I thought this thing was interesting with this clear plastic overlay. I don't know, this weird look. You can see the inside there a bit. So what we got here, as far as specs, I'll put the specs up on the screen. I'm not going to go over everything, but we have a 3.2-inch IPS screen. Resolution is 1024 by 768. We've got an ARM quad-core 1.8 gigahertz high-performance open-source chip for the CPU. But let's power this thing on. This was sent to me by Go Game Geek. 64 gigabyte game micro SD card here. It's got thousands of games. They sell these things pre-set up. We're going to be taking a look at it as far as the build, so kind of evaluating that and the overall like quality of this handheld. So I believe they sell 64 gigabytes, maybe 128 gigabytes. Just take a look. Link will be down below. But as you saw, we have Arc OS on this thing. Now, as far as how it looks, no butt cheeks back here, but we do get this indentation for the shoulder buttons, and it feels okay. Do have HDMI up on the top, OTG, and power, USB-C. The side is the power button, reset button, then micro SD card slot there. Another one over yonder, and that's about it. Volume right here, kind of weird. Select and start, speaker there. Our switch, style analog sticks, and then our face button. So that's about it. So let's see how many games are on this 64 gigabyte model or version. Oh, well, there we go. 8,320. So I've messed with this a little bit. It seems like it's a fairly capable handheld. As far as the build quality goes, it's not very heavy. It doesn't necessarily feel cheap. It's decent, decent setup here as far as the quality of the build. Now, I do have some concern with like the D-pad a little bit. Playing some fighting games, I ran into, not crazy issues, but I'll talk about that more in a moment. But as far as the build goes, just running through what's included as far as the games. As you see, standard stuff. You got a lot of 8 and 16-bit systems, just scrolling through everything. All the way up to Nintendo 64. We've got a DS, PlayStation 1, PSP. So they didn't really include anything too advanced. Highest there is PSP. And then Nintendo 64 is kind of one of those, it's a lower end system, but it's kind of wonky with emulation sometimes. So we'll have to check that out. DS here, let's just quickly see 9 games. There's not a lot. DS is something that plays fairly well on a lot of handhelds, so I wouldn't be too concerned. I did play Grand Theft Auto, the Chinatown Wars. It ran decently well, kind of a cool game. So you can wind up adding more games if you want. DS is going to run just fine. Now, as far as the way they set this up, as you start to see scrolling through this, Mega Drive, Sega Genesis. Why the hell is there almost 1,200 Mega Drive games, right? Then you go, as soon as you get in there, it's like, wait, these are US games for the most part. And you'll start seeing some other randomness, but they're Genesis games. Doesn't make sense. Why is there Genesis games here? Okay, so it's like listed twice, but then why is there 1,200 games? But when you go back to the top, it'll have the Japanese and then multi-region folders up there. So Japanese, you'll go in there, and there's Japanese games listed. So that's why the numbers are inflated, but it is duplicating stuff. So in reality, this build, there's like over 8,000 games, but the overall build, It's probably closer to like 5,000 because there are quite a few duplicates with the way they have this thing set up. What else do we have here? It's going to be the same thing, I believe, with Famicom. Yeah, 1,476. And then you get in here, and they're mostly NES games with some Famicom strewn about. But then when you get to the top, it's like, what is this Dynavision stuff? Like, I don't know. They have like some folders up here with other regions kind of mixed in, but this one's a little sloppier. The others, like Super Nintendo and Super Famicom, they're kind of, you know, double listed, but they're not mixed up too crazy. Like Super Nintendo will have the Japanese games in a folder and then all the US games listed separately. It's kind of weird, but let's play a few more games here. As an example, PlayStation 1, there's only 74 games, not a ton. And one of the problems, like PlayStation's gonna run just fine on here, just straight up. PlayStation runs like on your mom's Vibe. If you have a micro SD card slot on that thing and it's got like a little LCD screen, you could load PlayStation games on your mom's Vibe. Plays on everything, dude. PlayStation's just an easy system to emulate. The problem with these handhelds and these builds is a lot of times these mofos, I don't know, they're just using crappy ROMs or they're really compressing them or doing something wonky. And there will be no music or sound in the games. But I did play a couple games here, and so far so good. Music is in the PlayStation 1 games on this build, so that's a plus. That's a plus. Not going to have any issue playing any of these PS1 games. Now, PSP, there's only 7 games here. Some standard stuff. Got Castlevania, Dracula X, you know, Chronicles, whatever the hell. Dragon Ball Z, Shin Budokai, Grand Theft Auto, Chinatown Wars. Oh, cool. PSP version of that. And then Spider-Man 2. I did play a couple games here. They seem to run okay, but PSP is typically one where it's kind of hit and miss sometimes, so yeah, maybe a little limited here. They might have only put games they know run well. Yeah, so far so good with that. One system that I haven't tested yet, Nintendo 64. They have 170 games. Let's jump into something, I don't know, that we can jump into real quick. Sometimes these cruising games give you issues. Like, one of them might work and then one of them doesn't. Like, I think sometimes like Cruising USA will be okay and then Cruising Exotica won't. Let's try it. It's stuttering quite a bit and the audio is not getting very loud. Yeah, audio is really bad. And the game's running very slow. So it's like, it sucks, man. It sucks. But I'm sure one of these cruising games is going to be fine. But yeah, I don't know, man. Sometimes these not crazy powerful handhelds should probably just omit Nintendo 64 or really test the damn games, because that's not playable. Maybe Cruisin' World works. Okay, see this one, freaking Cruisin' World plays a hell of a lot better than those other 2 games. It's stupid. Like, why? Like, this is almost fine. Now, I was mentioning earlier arcade games because I always like to check out like playing like Street Fighter, or Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 3, that kind of stuff, and all that's on here. We got all the CPS games, so all the arcade stuff is here. They don't have the names listed; they just have the shorthand ROM file names, which kind of looks ugly. It is what it is, but yeah. So playing like games like Street Fighter, where you're doing moves with the D-pad. This D-pad, I don't like. It just does not feel great. I just don't like. It's hard to explain. Like, just, it's like when you touch it, it's like the whole thing pushes in. So it's like, it's hard to do these rolling motions because the second you press down, it feels like you're pressing to like if you're pressing down and you're getting ready to press to the right, like to do a dragon punch, right? Or to do a down, forward, down, you know, type action, it feels like you're already pressing right and down at the same time already. So it doesn't feel like you're triggering right. Like it doesn't, it's just, you don't have that tactile feel unless you're like lifting your thumb off of it. You can't really roll. You get used to it, I guess, and you could start doing moves, but it just doesn't feel right to me. Anything else is fine, where you're not having to do like all those moves. It's an okay D-pad, or you could just stick to the analog stick. But yeah, being precise with this D-pad kind of sucks. The buttons, face buttons are a bit mushy. The shoulder buttons, I think, are fine. Really have no issue with them. The screen looks great. Really no issue with that at all. So overall, I think this is a decent handheld. I mean, it's kind of weird with how long it is this way. That's what she said. The build that they include here is not the worst. It's not crazy sloppy, but you know, I definitely can nitpick a bit with the setup they have there. It is a tiny bit sloppy, just not the worst I've ever seen. Could be a little cleaner, I guess. Could be tested out a little more to not include games that don't work. But yeah, it's a decent handheld. I think for being around $100, can you do better? Sure. Can you do worse? Probably. It's just, with all these things nowadays, it just depends on, you know, the style, what you like, how it looks. I mean, they put out so many of these things nowadays. It's just crazy. But yeah, there you go. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.